conversion that was done to a semi-auto receiver, which is why that probably is the case. Your magazine release is this button right here. Press that, your magazine comes right out. Your stock is retained by these little sheet metal ears right here on the front sight. So all you have to do is just kind of push that up a little bit and pop it out, because it just kind of folds over and it locks here in the rear. To be able to fold that back up again, you pinch this right here and this arm of the stock unlocks, and you can fold it back down where it is again captured by your front sight. But it is really just fun to do that. And as our friend Clay knows, sometimes the stock just comes out when you're not expecting it.
Securing objective Charlie. Enemy taking Bravo.
But your charging handle is actually on both sides here, so you just kind of pinch up there. And we actually do have a last round bolt holdover on this gun. So you see, this is completely clear. You just pull this back a little bit, and then the bolt goes forward. Now, of course, that won't trigger if you don't have a magazine in it, but what we do have is a bolt holdover here. So we pull this back, press this in, and the bolt stays open. You see that little button right there. We're gonna get into the nerdy guts in a bit, but all in all, this is a nice little compact machine pistol or submachine. Now, one of the other things that the VZ61 would have been kind of in the same class as, so to speak, I guess when it comes to Spetsnaz, KGB, weaponry, that kind of thing. Submachine guns, you know, something you'd have in the back of your hand if you were, I don't know, hypothetically stopping said van and executing political enemies, would have been the AKS-74U. Believe it or not, these were technically classified. The Russians called them submachine guns. They're not pistol caliber, so it doesn't really meet our Western definition, but that's what they were called. Not quite as conducive to jacket carry as maybe the Skorpion, which is why I guess a lot of those would have been popular for very low profile, don't scare the hose kind of operations. This AKS-74U, or Krinkov in particular, was actually loaned to us by Gunspot. Now, I already have a Krink, so why'd they send us this one? Well, I'm glad you asked. Aside from being a really cool sponsor of the channel, which we would, again, like to thank them very much for continuing to do, Gunspot's willing to pick up all sorts of cool stuff like this, which is actually a Krink that was there present on set of Red Dawn. Yeah, that Red Dawn, not the new Chris Hemsworth bullshit. Where's the gun? Yeah, they actually had the paperwork and everything for this. This gun in its original shape, whatever that was, is one of the serial numbers and make, model, everything that is listed in the prop department sheet for the 1984 Red Dawn, which makes us super cool. And I get to shoot it.
We're taking Charlie.
Oh man, history fucks sometimes. And so does Gunspot. So, thank you very much for sending this out to us, and it was a pleasure being able to demo it to all of you folk. But yeah, while the AKS-74Us are baller as shit, and one of my favorite AKs just because of how sexy they look, they're, you know, not always the most practical. Like I said, hiding that, not exactly an easy thing to do. Much easier than a standard AK, but if you're talking about something like the Skorpion that is designed to be carried very incognito, it's the obvious choice. Unless you need to penetrate armor into literally anything rifle rounds are good at, because 2 ACPs aim for the legs. It is worth noting they do have 10-round magazines for the Skorpion as well. This is for use inside of the leather holster that it also came with. Yes, they did make a holster for the machine pistol. But yeah, 10-round magazines, useful just in case your automatic machine pistol is in California. It'll be save you one felony. Those of you who haven't subscribed to me yet, those of you who have been subscribers, don't be this guy. Go ahead and subscribe. So now, let's get all up in them nerdy guts. So, on this side, we will push our pin out. And this is actually a captured pin, so that stays in the gun. But the top hinges open like so. We'll go ahead and remove our magazine. Don't need that right now. So as you can see here, we now have access to our bolt and spring assembly here. Now that we've lined it up with these grooves, we can pull out the charging handle little knobs there. And now we have access to our bolt and recoil spring assembly. So this is where the magic happens. So our recoil spring assembly is these 2 rods that actually are going through loops here in the front of the bolt, and the recoil springs sit behind those little metal loops that keep it in, keep it retained. So that is what pushes on when the gun is cycling. On top of that, you got your firing pin back here, which is what the hammer strikes when the gun is fired. Now, what is also really neat is what I guess is done as a move to try to milk as much mass out of the bolt as possible is instead of ending it right here, which is where you would need to end it for the bolt face and such. This is technically all the length that you need for the bolt, because this is where the cartridge sits while the gun is operating. You have your extractor up top here, and this is where your firing pin protrudes and strikes the ground, right? The rest of the bolt up here actually goes around the barrel inside
we don't let shit like that slide.
So it sleeves over and around the barrel. This is just to try to get a little bit more mass out of it, which is also cool because that's why that cutout is there. Because that space, this extra piece of bolt is forward.
The mission is complete.
144 kills, my fucking god.
Casings. So they just cut a fucking hole in it. So while this gun is cycling and rounds are actually being ejected out of the top of the gun.
Are you the one that has that goddamn anime thing when you kill somebody? God damn it.
Malfunctions.
GG's.